Hello, I'm Olive Colasso. I'm grateful for this opportunity to be considered to be a member of the PNLT board. I've lived in Parkdale for over 25 years, and this is home for me, with its vibrancy and diversity. Yet at the same time, I've been increasingly concerned about the growing lack of affordable, stable housing, especially for those who are marginalized. So it's been really inspiring to watch the PNLT over the years in its development as an organization and with its partnerships to serve the people of our community. I also understand that with that growth comes great responsibility with an impact on the lives of the people that the PNLT serves. To help make a contribution, I joined the PNLT Governance Committee about 6 months ago, and I've since had the privilege of taking on the co-chair role. This has helped me better understand the importance of the PNLT and its work, and an opportunity to work with people who also really care about affordable housing and healthy communities. In addition to my own lived experience in the past with housing instability, I bring to the PNLT my wide range of experience working in the healthcare sector, consulting, and with community engagement. My areas of expertise include governance, strategy and policy, funding, privacy, government relations, procurement, and communications. In addition, for a number of years, I was co-chair and treasurer on the parent council of a high school in Parkdale. In those roles to support student success, I work closely with parents and the administration to address a wide range of complex issues, including anti-racism, equity, funding, and COVID-19. I would be honored to serve as a PNLT board member. I would serve with integrity and a commitment to make an active contribution to the PNLT and its transformative work. Thank you again for this opportunity.
I'm Charlene. I'm Cree. I'm First Nations. I reside in Parkdale for approximately over 25 years. I've raised my 3 grandchildren in Parkdale. I've volunteered and have been employed. I worked at Park for about 4 to 5 years. I got to know the community by working at Park. I volunteered at Parkdale Legal Services for a couple years. I also participate in a lot of the community events within Parkdale. I personally am volunteering with West Neighborhood House 150 Dun the Welcome Committee. I also am coordinating right now and organizing a Every Child Matters garden in the front of my co-op building with the Parkdale Pollinators Group. I have other numerous experiences, and I welcome the challenge of participating and bringing my administrative skills, my professional, my volunteerism, and whatever else I can help and be involved in to promote that people deserve housing. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what culture you are. Please, we like to have land, to have housing for everyone. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Epiphany Hunt, and I am happy to virtually meet you today to talk to you about the reasons why I would be honored to serve as a board member for the Parkdale Neighborhood Land Trust. So I was born in Winnipeg. I'm Red River Métis. However, I moved to Toronto when I was 2 years old and grew up in Parkdale. I've lived in all sorts of different rental situations here, from roommate situations to basement apartments, high rises, and low rises. I've seen it all, and some places have been better than others. However, I've always been happy to call Parkdale home within Toronto. Um, so I took some time away from Parkdale for a little while there. However, I found my way back here about 3 years ago now. Moving back here was really eye-opening to me, in that, firstly, how much rents have risen, and secondly, the accessibility and availability of units and the standards needed to access them, and also the maintenance standards in many units. Um, as someone who really values a community, and having grown up here, it was troubling to me to see these barriers to re-entry into the community that I was raised in and identified with. And I think that the Parkdale Neighborhood Land Trust is doing a really important work of starting with what we have and making sure, first and foremost, that we're preserving affordable housing. If we can also keep it up to standard and make improvements, then that is such needed work. And I think it's amazing that this is something that can be done on a community level from a grassroots point of view. And I would really love to be a part of that. I have a number of years of experience in community work. I have an educational background in community health work and then went on to work for quite some time at Aboriginal Legal Services, providing legal services, meeting the needs of primarily people below the poverty line and sometimes Parkdale residents. During that work, I did a lot of community organization, legal advocacy, including at the Landlord Tenant Board, public legal education, alternative dispute resolution, and volunteer coordination, all sorts of fun stuff. I've now moved on to working at the University of Toronto in public health administration and research, looking a lot about the social determinants of health, which include things like housing as a need for people to thrive and survive. I believe in housing as a human right, and I would love to be able to do whatever I can on the ground to make that a reality for people in the place that I'm proud to call home, Parkdale. If you would have me on the board, it would be a great honor, but regardless, I would be so pleased to be able to help out in whatever way possible. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Hi there, my name is Elena Page. I've been living in the Parkdale catchment for the last 23 years. I work as a criminal defense lawyer. And I originally became involved in the PNLT about 2 years ago. Originally, I was interested because I learned that it was making efforts to work on preserving affordable housing in the Parkdale area. And my experience as a criminal defense lawyer is that people who are trying to get out of the criminal justice system have a much more difficult time if they don't have stable housing. And so I had made, any efforts that I thought I could make that would try to help preserve stable housing in our neighborhood. I thought I would donate my time to see what I could do. Through my involvement with the PNLT, I actually learned that I have been learning that there's a lot more reasons why it's important to have affordable housing. And I see now that there's a real trend throughout the whole city where affordable housing is at risks and all the negative consequences that come when that happens. So through my involvement over the last few years, I think it was in 2022 when I joined, primarily I've been involved with, in 2022, I think I was involved in working on a policy that was drafting about seat allocation on the boards. There was another piece of policy that I was involved with that dealt with prevention, eviction prevention, and sort of what are the policies that needed to be implemented to try to avoid that from happening. Most recently, I've been involved with a subcommittee in the governance committee to work on a code of conduct, and I've been working on that this week. So I would love to be reelected so I can continue and try to help out. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bernadette Riloraza. I am on my last term as one of the board of directors of the Parkdale Neighborhood Land Trust, and I'm currently serving on the governance committee. Thank you for the opportunity to tell you why I'd be honored to continue to serve the PNLT board. I share this organization's values, diversity, equality, and inclusion that builds and sustains a healthy, thriving community which benefits all and leaves no one behind. As an immigrant queer woman of color and a mother of 2 children living with disabilities, I am passionate about empowerment. I know from experience what inclusion and understanding can bring to the lives of even the most vulnerable members of our community. Sometimes life pulls things out of you, 4 years ago, as the pandemic took hold, I was faced with eviction by a racist landlord bent on destroying my will and mocking my presumed incapacity to defend myself or my family. But instead of being an easy target, this hideous landlord awoke something in me that has only become stronger since then. I found my true passion helping and defending my neighbors and organizing the community I love and grew up in. I have worked with more than half a dozen groups and associations like Parkdale People's Economy, Parkdale Organize, Mutual Aid Downtown West Clusters, Neighborhood Pods Toronto, that serve my beloved Parkdale and its residents. I was deeply humbled and honored to have been recognized my contributions by people in Parkdale who believed in me and appreciated what I've contributed to the community with the Dorothy Leach Award from Parkdale Legal Services and also community awards from Federal Justice Minister and MP Arif Virani as well as MPP Butila Carpochi. Before I joined the board, I worked with the PNLT as community-based researcher and tenant advisor. In this role, I conducted surveys to learn about tenant experiences in the neighborhood. This work reinforced firsthand to me the inadequate living conditions of neighbors and the impacts of gentrification on the Parkdale community. When I was first elected to the board, it exposed me to new and accustomed challenges that helped me continue to grow my knowledge and awareness. I was also honored and privileged to attend the Canadian Alliance to End Homelessness in 2022 and also the National Symposium on the Right to Housing for Women and Gender Diverse People in 2022 and the 2023 NLT Summit, the first ever held in Toronto. I met several members from across Canada, heard their ideas and experiences, and built new connections. I am energized by the thought of continuing my role on the PNLT board. I feel my experience and engagement will continue to benefit the PNLT's worthy goals while providing a welcome opportunity to help shape the kind of community we all want here in Parkdale. Thank you for your time.
My name is Kathleen West. I'm a dual American Canadian citizen. I was born in Texas, grew up in Connecticut. I lived in Canada all my adult life, first in Kingston at Queen's University, doing a degree in history and film studies, then in Montreal, where I worked for Phyllis Lambert doing historical research on the disappearing architectural heritage of Montreal. This led to the pursuit of an architecture degree at the University of Montreal. I rented on Triller in the late 70s. I lived in Parkdale continually since the early 80s. I am part of the Parkdale problem. I moved here when it was cheap. I was fortunate to raise my kids here, and I now own an apartment on Sororan Avenue. My children will have a hard time finding a place to own or rent here. My building experience has been very hands-on. I worked as a carpenter's helper and contractor during architecture school and after finishing my degree. I was working for the Development Education Center when they needed an architect for their bookstore on College Street. That led to an architecture job for me, then kids, then self-employment as an architect and project manager, doing primarily residential and small commercial projects. Because I could speak French, I was offered a job as project manager for the Bank of Nova Scotia's Quebec projects. I have previous board experience, having served as the president of the board of our condominium. I have learned a lot serving on the board of the PNLT these past 2 years and on the acquisitions committee. I hope that I have also been helpful and that I will be given the chance to continue. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Fatin Ishraq and I work at Parkdale People's Economy as a community benefits organizer, and I'm submitting my nomination for the Parkdale Neighborhood Land Trust Board on behalf of PPE. I've been living and working in Parkdale for the last 2 years, particularly with nonprofit organizations and various grassroots initiatives, supporting people who are low income, working class, and navigating the various challenges around housing affordability, food insecurity, and access to like secure jobs. So I am personally fascinated by PNLT, and as I got to learn about PNLT like over the last half a decade or so, it presents to me a unique opportunity to give back power to the people living in a particular neighborhood and enabling them to access land, own land, and also ensure that there are means for affordable housing for people who would not otherwise be able to access them. So with the incoming board, I'm really excited to delve into the challenges that Parkdale is facing with increased gentrification, and understand closely how we can actually protect the social, cultural, and economic diversity of Parkdale, which is also changing rapidly. I'm a queer, non-binary tenant that's living in Parkdale, and the lives of my friends and neighbors who are being impacted, they represent a specific demographic living in Parkdale who are renting, who are working class, whose livelihood is more directly impacted as a result of increased gentrification and displacement in Parkdale. At Parkdale People's Economy, we're currently, through bringing people together and the formation of the Parkdale Housing Justice Network, we're really looking at how do we organize to center equitable development, which is one of the core values for the PNLT board, that actually fights against the displacement that's taking place. So that's really what I'm bringing to the table. I'm excited to work in collaboration with other folks who have direct lived experience, who bring different kinds of expertise. And with the increasing trends around financialization around housing, I think it's going to be an important period for us to really put in some of the groundwork to ensure that we have affordable housing and that Parkdale remains affordable for tenants and people who make up the social fabric that is Parkdale. So thank you for your consideration, and I look forward to connecting with you all. Take care. Bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Matty Paquis. I'm honored to be nominated to stand for re-election to the PNLT board. I have sat on the board for the past 2 years as an organizational member with Parkdale Activity Recreation Center. Working for Park for the last 5 years, I bring experience in the affordable housing and supportive housing sector, both as a frontline worker and as a manager for housing and supports. I would love to be sitting on the board again, as PNLT and NLT have shown themselves to be a very dynamic organization, committed to values, and their mission and their work has impacted the community in such a positive way that I'd love to be with you guys to see this project grow and thrive. Have a good day.
Hi there, my name is Tenzin Chime. People also call me Tomo. I am Tibetan and currently a Master of Social Work student at the University of Toronto. I'm honored to be nominated to run on the board of Parkdale Neighbourhood Land Trust. As a newcomer in Canada, my first introduction to Parkdale's community spirit was back in 2017 when my family took part in the rent strike against Metcalf Corporation. Later, I joined PNLT in 2020 as a community-based researcher where we looked at the concerning trends of gentrification and financialization in Parkdale's tower rental buildings. And since then, I have regularly attended PNLT's monthly board meetings, offering interpretation support, and also following their pioneering work on community land ownership and stewardship. I've also worked with Parkdale People's Economy on their 2024 Parkdale Community Planning Study and co-authored the report as well. Personally, Parkdale was my first home in Canada after coming from Nepal. The neighborhood provided a deep sense of belonging, especially as it hosts the largest concentration of Tibetans in Canada. I've worked closely with Tibetan women, seniors, and youth in Parkdale through my involvement with Tibetan Women's Association of Ontario, as well as Made in Exile. So, with my passion for community organizing and years of experience working within both Tibetan as well as the broader Parkdale communities, I hope to facilitate meaningful connections and contribute to PNLT's ongoing efforts towards housing justice. I thank you for considering my nomination.